So for this final breakdown, we're going to look at Luka Garza on the defensive end, and we're going to start in pick and roll situations, him in drop coverage. And this is my biggest concern. As he drops here, he has to be able to get back and contest these shots from the big. As you see on that one, he's not even able to get there and contest whatsoever. As we go into the next one, here he gets a little too high, and now he's really in trouble because he's not able to change direction and get back, and he actually ends up with the foul. So you see two different plays against the Spurs bigs where in drop coverage, he's not really able to protect the rim because he's not able to go from the on-ball player to even the roll guy. And then this is why you can't switch or really even hard hedge with him. As he gets here, ends up with the switch as Hami doesn't get through the screen, and Keldon Johnson just goes by, easy bucket and the foul. And I don't think those are the situations where you want Garza using up his fouls. I'll talk about that in a second. Now against the Knicks, we saw him trap ball screen. So here we see that, and he's gonna have to work really, really hard in these situations. I don't mind it, but it also puts a lot of pressure on rotations. As you see, Sadiq Bey has to come, Hami has to come. Luka does a good job getting back in the play, and it's not like the prettiest thing. It's not a highlight block, but he's able to contest and get a miss there from Mitchell Robinson. We see it again here. And then he's able to recover on the pass. So this is where it puts, if they're going to trap with him, he's got to run all the way from here down onto the baseline, protect against this drive, and then it's going to cause multiple efforts from his teammates to cause turnovers or to keep the offense from getting a bucket. So that's just something to watch for if they try to do more trap. And then where you really, the area for concern is now Burks is aware of it. He drags him up the floor a little bit. Hami doesn't really get through, and then he gets split. And now it really puts your defense in a bind with rotations, and you're going to give up lobs like that. So the drop coverage, the concern is dropping and then getting back to the roll guy. The trap, it's not so much about Luka all the time as the pressure it's going to put on all of his teammates. But again here, look how far he is from the basket now, and then watch how much ground he has to cover as these rotations happen. The rotation comes to take away his guy. The one more pass here, one more, and now Luka has had to go almost from half court all the way to the opposite corner. And again, while I never question his effort, is he going to be able to get it done in all those situations that I highlighted here? And then now, again in drop coverage, we're going to talk about his rim protection. So here he drops, and you should never give up a shot right at the rim in drop coverage. What you're trying to force is like a little mid-range, a float or something like that, but he just doesn't have the foot quickness, the change of direction, the hip fluidity to get there and really contest that. I've talked about him being able to take charges, so I think that's where maybe an area he could get good at. But even here in transition, he just kind of stops. He's a statue on this. You got to keep moving your feet, maybe even guess a little bit at a Euro step, and you see the offensive players able just to go by. I love that he continues with the play and gets a defensive rebound on that one, but you see he just has a lot of room to improve in terms of just that lateral movement and his ability to stay in front of people. And then along with that is also just some awareness on defense, anticipation here. So in transition, you can't hug up to your guy at the rim when Julius Randle is right here. So he's got to be able to see both of these guys. I understand he's worried about the lob to Mitchell Robinson. And then right now, I think he's got to come over and give up a hard foul. Now in this game, he was asked to play 40 minutes, so I understand it a little bit, but that's a situation where, hey, Luka Garza, you're going to play 10 minutes, use up all 6 of your fouls if you have to in those type of situations. I'm going to show here, he doesn't do a great job of it, but the verticality. So if maybe what he can be really good at is just vertical, straight up, 2 hands, and contest with his body this way. But what he likes to do is, he's almost like a guard where you see him bring his hand down there and he tries to swipe at the ball. So instead of blocking shots, he's trying to get steals. This one, it pays off, but again, I'm not sure that's a situation where we want to see him using his fouls to do that. I'd like to see him just stay 2 hands straight up, contest. Here, I love his anticipation. He knows what play is coming, so he gets through the screen early, meets the offensive player at the spot. All of this is good. He even pushes him out. This is where he has to get better. I'd like to see him be able to hold up in these situations against true post-ups. Maybe that's a situation where he could be a plus, not forcing double teams from guys in the post. And then here, this is really good. This is really where I think Luka Garza can be a help on the defensive end. You see your teammate get backdoored, see the early early rotation. Great anticipation, great recognition. Here's what I'm talking about. The two hands straight up. I realize against is a smaller player, but he stops that from giving up a layup, is active with his hands, and it ends up being a turnover. So that's really where I think, and it actually gets points on the other end for the Pistons. That's where I think Luka can get really good at over the rest of this season, into next, and the rest of his career.